Hello, welcome to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. You're listening to Date the Right One, a brand new show here on our network, and we're hoping that you enjoy it. We are listening also to goingsolonetwork.com. I am Cece Shatz, the Doyenne of relationship building, and I am a divorce, dating, and a life coach. And so I want to welcome you to the show here tonight. I want to get right on to the topic, but before we do that, let's do a little bit of our homework and thank those that are listening to us, those that have supported us throughout the time here on our network. We want to thank our Going Solo community and our meettheright1.com. They are the sponsors of the show. Going Solo community is a brand new community out that takes you through that transition of relationship loss through thinking about dating and then possibly dating itself. And then we have our Meet the Right One, which is a brand new dating community, something new on the horizon, something you haven't seen before. And so you may want to check that out. So check out both goingsolocommunity.com and meettheright1.com. So we hope that you'll do that. Well, let's get on with our topic because I think our topic tonight is very important. So you want to start dating, right? You know, so many people are telling you how to date, right? How to get online, do this, do that, do your profile, do your pictures, do this. But the reality is that a lot of times we're not successful in dating. And the reason we're not successful in dating is because we haven't really done our homework from the beginning, right? And so often those that are in some sort of relationship loss, whether it be by death or by divorce, and we talk a great deal on this channel about divorce and a relationship loss in that way, the reality is that usually our partners have moved on, right? And we're the ones that are kind of left behind. And so we're the ones trying to pick up the pieces, trying to figure out what went wrong, how are we going to face this new world that we're in today, how to rediscover ourselves, and then how to move forward and possibly, have a partner. And so when we do that, we're thinking about dating. And so the reality is that we have to really come to terms with the fact that what is in our past. And so often we try to say, well, we're going to, leave our baggage behind. But the reality is we have to open our baggage to truly understand what it is that we've gone through. What have we experienced in our life that's going to really make us who we are today and propel us into the future? And so we need to look at some of those areas, and we can't take responsibility for everything. Absolutely not. But those situations that we can take responsibility of, that we can look at our past and determine a direction that we want to change, a pattern that maybe we had in our life, right? So those are the areas that we want to kind of concentrate on. And that is so missed in dating. It is so missed in that transition of dating. And so we have a great show here on our network. It's called Let's Talk Dating. And we have Christine and Barry that do it. They do it on Thursdays at 4 p.m. Eastern time. And so you want to check that out because they cover a lot of things in it. And so we're going to be following up here on the Date the Right One, because the reality is in order for us to be successful in dating, in order for us to really date the right one, we have to know who we are, and be the right one as we're moving forward. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about opening the baggage a little bit, reviewing it, analyzing it, take responsibility of some of the issues that maybe we had in our past, understand them. So as we move forward, we're not taking that with us. So often we go into dating blindsided, right? We go in thinking, and if you want to make a comment, I'd love to be able to hear from you. If you have any questions, we can talk about that. You just make a comment on here live and we can bring it up. But so often we blame the dating sites. We blame our potential daters, right? The datees. We blame them for everything. And the reality is that we haven't really touched on some of the situations from our past. And so let's look at that. Let's analyze that a little bit. Let's take that into account. Let's think about some of the patterns that maybe we might have done in the past. What maybe has made our past relationships not so successful? Can we shift? Can we change a little bit with regards to that? Can we embrace that and be able to move forward? And so once we do that, then we want to then start thinking about ourselves. What is it that we want in life? And now I'm in the last quarter of my life, and I know that many out there are the same way, and they're looking at life a little bit differently, right? But I still can't, and I know many can't get their heads around that. We can't get our heads around the fact that the way we looked at life and dating and partnerships and relationships when we were younger are really not the same as we are now when we're older. And so how are we going to embrace that? How are we going to create that shift in our life that we can actually embrace it, right? And so what happens is, because we haven't really touched on those things, we then blow out any dating relationships that we might very well have, right? Because they don't understand us, we don't understand them, right? And it's really all in communication. I heard here recently about something about communication. Be with someone who values communication, right? And try to understand someone that you can communicate without the words, right? Without have a clear understanding of what it is that you both want as you're coming together. And that is, I think, a partnership communication. It's not always about the words that we say and sometimes how we say it, but it also is about the interpretation of those words, right? What we're taking in as we're listening to those words. And that's really about our surroundings of what we're at. And so as we're moving forward and we're thinking about dating, we truly need to home in on what it is that we do want in our lives. Do we want to live with someone? Do we want to be married to someone? Do we want separate places? Do we want separate bank accounts? Do we want separate? What do we want, right? As we're moving forward, as we're developing our relationship. So what I ask you today is, as you're thinking about dating, stop for a minute. Just stop and be still for a minute and think about being in a relationship. Think about maybe 5 years, right? And think about you're with somebody, and how do you see yourself in that relationship? Do you see yourself with them every day? Do you see yourself, doing something different? Do you see yourself traveling? Do you see yourself just at home hanging out? Well, what do you really see in the relationship that you want? Because we don't know what we want unless we actually put our mindset there. We create that shift that we want to do. And so what I'm going to ask you tonight is not the fundamentals of dating. I'm going to ask you to really think and dig deep about the mental part of dating, right? Think about what kind of relationship it is that you truly want. And what are you willing to give that other person? So often we think about, as we're starting to date, about what we want, right? We started our show with that. We talked about what it is that we want. But then we have to think about, what are we willing to give? What are we willing to give up? What are we willing to compromise? What are our non-negotiables, right? How do we want to be treated? And so we have to stop and take a moment and catch our breath and really think about the kind of relationship that we want. We want to be with someone who values communication, values the art of not only talking with us, but understanding us. Someone that has the ability to step out of themselves, to think and be in a place, in a zone where you are, right? And so a lot of times when we have arguments or we have discussions that go kind of crazy, if we stop for a minute and we think about the other party and we think about, what are they experiencing during this conversation? How is it going on? Here we go. We got something here. John says, but on our profile, we put what we want and what we're looking for and what we don't want. And if it's the same as the other person, they never answer. And after a while, you get to the point where you don't even want to play this game anymore. And so you stay alone. Okay, is that a question? I totally get what you're saying. So, okay. So mentally, John, let's think about this for a minute. So we put on our profile what it is that we want, right? and what we're truly looking for. And what you're thinking is that you're not getting a response to that. But sometimes when we do these profiles, it's too businesslike, right? It's too much information. And so we say 1, 2, 3, 4, I want this and nothing more. But the reality is the essence of a relationship is the more, right? And so it's not all about the 1, 2, 3, 4 that we want in our profile. It's about the essence of the relationship that we're craving, because we all crave being with somebody. We all crave some sort of relationship. And what type of relationship do you want? And so that's the kind of thing you want to be able to do. And so my suggestion is maybe say what I'm looking for is a true connection with someone, someone where I want to be with them and they want to be with me. Of course we have our non-negotiables. We have our things like, I don't want smoking, or I don't want this, or I don't want that. But so often we make these judgment calls on body size, right? We don't make it on the quality of the individual, right? We make it on whether, they're attractive or not in their pictures. But we don't really catch the essence of the relationship, right? The essence of the person that building that relationship. And so what I'm going to ask you tonight is dig a little deeper than the superficial part of the profile. Look a little bit more into what it is that you are truly looking for. Do you want someone to sit in that rocking chair next to you? Let's see. Here we go. But that's what I'm saying. It's not so much that what I want as it is the type of person that I am. So what type of person are you? Is that what you're saying? I mean, what, it's my way or the highway? What type of person are you? Are you easygoing? Are you, it's all sometimes in timing too. It's, it's trying to figure out what it is that you want. And, as you move forward, and you want to portray yourself, but you don't want to give so much away. You want it to be a little bit of a mystery. So if you're looking at writing your profile, that's something very different than what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about the essence of, are you truly ready to date? Let's see what you're saying. Loving, caring, want to hold hands, walking down the road, looking at each other, and just having a great time. Well, and do you say that in your profile? Is that what you're saying in your profile? And you're saying people aren't attracted to that? So I think what it is, maybe John, just as a thought, maybe somebody's looking for more than just holding hands. Maybe they're looking for somebody that truly will make a commitment, someone that maybe you should put on your profile and say, I'm looking for a partner in life. I'm looking for someone that will make a commitment because I'm prepared to make one. And so maybe if you just be honest like that, there's a lot of women out there that are looking for a man to make a commitment, because so often we're on the market because someone broke a commitment to us, right? And so if you say, listen, I'm in your profile, you say, I'm ready for a relationship with the right person. I've done my work and I'm ready for that person with open arms, and I'm prepared to make a commitment. And so maybe that's the answer. Maybe if we just say we're walking on the beach, and we do some of those things that are just so general, maybe that's, and being a woman, I see it all the time on the profiles. We see that. And so how are we supposed to really judge you when it's so, it's something that we see on a zillion million profiles? So you want to make it stand out. You want your profile to stand out. And we probably should talk about writing a profile, in probably, further that. And maybe you need to have someone look at your profile, professional or somebody to look at it and maybe rewrite it for you to better get that there. But the reality is that how many dates have you been on that, not you, John, but I mean, just out there. But how many dates have we been on that we've just blown them away? You know, truly great people. We've blown them away because we didn't look deeper, right, within them. And so sometimes that happens. And so if we're more in touch with ourselves and we're more in zone with what it is that we truly want, and we know our baggage, we understand our baggage, and we can move forward in that. I was talking to someone about triggers, right? And they were in a relationship, and then some triggers started happening from the past, and that got brought up, and then that really made a muckety muck of the relationship. But the reality is that's life, right? We can't expect to have a whole lifetime of stuff and thinking that something isn't going to erupt, in our futures because of our past. You know, it's really how we work together on getting through that as people, right? As individuals and as a couple working forward in it. So what I'm saying tonight is that, are you ready, really, truly ready to date? Because I know when I first started after my divorce, I was not ready to date. And I didn't have a clue. Didn't have no idea. I didn't know what I really wanted. All I knew is that my relationship was over and my partner had moved on far faster than what I had. I was blindsided. And the reality is that now I have to start creating a whole new life for myself. So many of us are doing that. Many of us are coming from a relationship loss and then just stepping blindly forward into, dating, and we're not ready for that relationship. We're not ready for a commitment to somebody else. So what I'm going to ask you tonight is really think about some of those things on whether you're truly ready for that. And if you are, what kind of relationship do you want? How do you see yourself in that relationship? What are you willing to compromise on and to give a part of yourself? Because I have heard it over and over and over again where everybody talks about what they want in a relationship, but they don't talk about what they're willing to give the partner, what you're willing to give someone, right? And so, John, I think you should look at your profile, and I think you should shake it up. I think you should twist it over and look at it from another perspective. Don't look at the profile as from your perspective. Like a lot of times we'll read in the profiles, well, I like to fish and I like to do this and I like to do that. Well, that's all great. You might like to do that. But the reality is I enjoy doing this and I would love to have someone do this with me, right? And so, but let's say, for instance, you play golf and you say, well, and I've seen it on profiles too, where they said, you don't have to play golf. I like to play golf and I can go play golf. But now if you are someone that plays golf every single weekend, every single day on the weekend, or, throughout the week, then you need to be straight up that you truly want somebody that plays golf because you are living on the golf course. Okay. So if you're living doing something, you want a partner that's going to enjoy that aspect of it with you. If you want to travel in an RV, you need to say things like that. So they're kind of straight up with that. So look at the life that you want and that you want to be able to move forward in it. The other thing is don't pretend, right? Don't pretend that things are okay, that you want something that you don't want. So often when we start dating, that kind of happens to us. We kind of say, well, all right, okay, he's good looking. I'll go for it. Well, no, if it's not really what you want, don't pretend, because the reality is that could very well be your lifestyle. And if it's not what you truly want, if the person isn't really, really what, you feel the kind of person that you want in your life, don't pretend. Be real to yourself. Be honest with yourself. You need to ask for what you want in dating. Now, I thought this was amazing when I was I made some notes here on this, and ask what you want in dating. What is it that you truly want? For me, I want a true connection. I really want to be able to look forward to seeing that person, and I want him to look forward to seeing me. I want to be the first person he thinks about in the morning and the last person he thinks about at night. What do you want? What kind of relationship are you looking for? If you're looking for somebody just to hang out with, that's okay. If you're looking for somebody just to date to fill your time, that's fine. But be true and honest with yourself. Don't pretend, and don't pretend to other people what it is that you want, right? Because disappointment is a hard pill to swallow for everybody. And so you want to be straight up about that. You want to know what it is that you want. You want to, let's see. Don't prioritize someone who doesn't make you a priority. How many times in your life have you ever taken second to something, right? I don't know about you, but I like to be first. And I like my partner to be first. And so don't take second. Make yourself a priority and make your partner a priority. So as you move forward and you start dating, you meet somebody that you truly like, make them a priority. It's hard, I know, because I work a lot and I think about that a lot. And I don't always make myself a priority. I don't always make my partner a priority. But what are you going to have at the end of the day? How much do you value the relationship that you're building, right? Because here's the reality. Dating is building relationships. I have been out with many people, as I'm sure you have, that they've ended up in friendships, wonderful friendships, which is great. We all need friends. We all need to surround ourselves with people that are enlightening and that we enjoy their company with. But they may not be lifelong partners, right? And so if I'm looking for a lifelong partner, as you're looking for a lifelong partner, we're looking for someone that we can truly, honestly connect and make a priority. Make them a priority and we become a priority. When you become a priority, when your wishes and dreams and what you're looking for becomes a priority, the shift starts happening, right? And those around you start to understand that, and they also make it a priority. So they understand that what's important to you, and you become valuable. And that's what's lost in the relationships, is when we make that transition of a relationship loss. We've made that transition from losing ourselves and being lost and not valued into being valued again, because we start making ourselves a priority. So as you're making that transition into, stepping from a relationship loss, transitioning into stepping into your new life as being single, you start to create a value for yourself. You start being your priority, right? You start putting your needs ahead. Then when you start dating, for some reason we start to say, okay, forget, we don't have any needs, wants, and desires anymore. It's all going to be on our partner. No, that's not the way it works, right? And that's why it's not working in a dating relationship. That's why you're not making a relationship when you date. It's because you got to continue to be valuable. Because if you don't value yourself, they won't value you, right? But here's the thing, and when I have to do a real quick break, but I want to say this before we do the break, because I think this is important. I want you to think about it while we do the break, because this is really an important thing. Is as we move forward and we begin to build a relationship, that is what we're doing, is building a relationship and dating, right? And so we're building a relationship not only with ourselves, we're continuing to build a relationship with ourselves because we're growing each and every day. But we're building a relationship with a person that we don't know, right? A stranger that we don't know. We're starting to develop something with them. And so often we take that as, if it doesn't work out, we're so upset. Well, the reality is it's simply building something, right? you're building, and it's like a platform, and you just keep building and building and building, and either it works out or it doesn't. So when we get back, we're going to talk about vesting, right? Vesting in someone, because we don't vest. We don't, and we need to vest in ourselves, right? As we're talking about value. So when we come back, let's talk about vesting, because that's where we sometimes lose our hearts. And that's also where sometimes we need to step back, and be vested. So let's talk about that moving forward. You guys are listening to Date the Right One. I want to thank you so much for listening to us. I am Cece Shatz, a Doyenne of relationship building. This is WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. I want to thank our wonderful sponsors today, goingsolocommunity.com and meettheright1.com for sponsoring this show. We do appreciate it. Next week, it's a bi-weekly show, so then the following week we'll be back to the boy and girl thing. So, but I want to thank everyone for listening here to Date the Right One. So stick around. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about vesting in dating and investing in yourself as we're moving forward in dating. So stick around. We'll be right back. Hey, thank you for waiting here with us. Let me turn this off. We are listening to Date the Right One. It's a brand new show here on our network, and it's sponsored by our goingsolocommunity.com and meettheright1.com. I want to thank you for listening to us. We are on the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, and I am Cece Shatz. I am the Doyenne of relationship building. I am a divorce, dating, and a life coach. I connect singles through our Going Solo Network. You can find everything on our goingsolonetwork.com. All of our media is right there on our goingSoloMedia.com. We got a lot of stuff happening in the Going Solo Network, so I hope that you guys will check us out and hang with us on that. Now, we're talking about, so you want to start dating, and we're talking about the emotional side of it. And it's truly important because we put the cart before the horse a lot of times, right? We start dating, we start getting on a website long before we're really ready. And so I think that we need to really think about that as we're moving forward in dating. And it doesn't matter if you are, newly single, or if you've been single for a long time. Sometimes you're really trying to evolve, and you're trying to catch up with yourself, so to speak, right? You're learning about yourself, and as you move forward, you're growing, and you're just not the person that you were yesterday. And so you have to look at everything new, right? As you're moving forward in your life, you have to stop for a minute and really catch yourself and look at your life as to the way it is, and try to think about what you want in the future. But the first part of the show, we talk a little bit about that, but let's talk about vesting, because this is where I think it gets so emotional in dating, right? We get so vested long before we should, right? So let's say we start dating, right? We put our profile out there and we do actually go out with someone and they ghost us or they do something like that. Who cares, right? We did a show on this on the boy and girl thing. I could care less if somebody ghosts me. That's fine. Then you're out of my life. And I didn't waste any time with you. I didn't spend any time thinking about you, and I didn't hurt my feelings. I mean, I just didn't get vested in you, right? Where we start getting vested is when we start dating and really trying to build something. And, I've been toying with this over and over in my mind about this exclusive, right? When you start dating, like right away, the guy, if he's truly into you, he's going to want to get you off the market. So he's going to want to be exclusive. Part of me says, that's a good thing because you're actually focused on trying to build something together, right? And then the other part of me says, wait a minute, if you want me to vest in you, then are you truly vesting in me? And so what does exclusive mean? And so that's very clear. You need to understand what that means to each other. So if someone says to you, ladies, if a guy says to you, and ladies, you should not say that you want to be exclusive. The man needs to say it first. And if the guy says to you he wants to be exclusive, say, what is that exactly to you? Explain to me what exclusive means to you, right? Because he's starting to vest in you, right? When he communicates, it depends on what he's truly looking for. And you could start to understand that. And that's when your emotions start playing in. You start dating more, right? You start building a relationship together and things start happening. But the reality is you're going to go 2, maybe 3 months down the road and it still may not work out, right? And you've invested in yourself in this. You're vested. Women, especially if we start becoming sexual, we give our hearts away, right? Our hearts get tangled and we get messed up with this. And so I think that we have to pull it back a little bit and we have to think, how maybe divide it into segments, right? Okay, you start dating, then you start, being exclusive, then you start, the sexual part of it. Sex is power, and be very transparent with that. Sex is definitely power. And so, guys want it, we want it, but the reality is it's not really great unless it's with the right one, right? And so you don't necessarily want to give that up. And I'm not saying that, there hasn't been times when, you had, somebody's asked me like, well, when should you have sex with someone? Well, you need to have sex with them when you're comfortable with having sex with them. I mean, I would not recommend sex on the first date. Have I done it? Yeah. Who hasn't done it? Yeah. But the reality is if I have done that, and if you've done that, you're not really trying to build the relationship. You're just, got caught up in the moment. And so the reality is, what do you do after that, right? If you've had sex before you've built anything, before you've vested anything, then where do you go from there? So the reality is you really need to start vesting in your relationship. You need to start, thinking about it. And as you move forward, you're building and building and building. It's like building blocks, put one on top of the other. And that's how it's actually done. And the reality is that when you build something together, you're doing it together, right? And so you want to build it slowly and build it strong, right? And so that's what's so valuable. That's what's so important. And so often we think it's a quick fix. We want to go so fast into something and we want to lose ourselves and we get caught up in the romance. I mean, I love romance and we get caught up in the romance of thinking about having someone in our lives and where it could possibly go and all of those things. But the reality is we got to keep our feet planted as we're moving forward in relationship building. And that's what dating is. Dating is truly, honestly, if you want to be successful in having a partner in your life, it's relationship building. And so it's about the connection you have with someone. So if you need to, Johnny, if you're listening, if you need to revamp your profile, and one of the tips I will tell you, if you're on a dating site, you want to go in and edit your profile. Do it at least once a month if you're on there for a couple months or something, but every 2 weeks maybe. Go in and do something different on it that brings your profile up to the top again, and you start circulating again. So just go in and make some sort of change to your profile, save it, and it'll bring it back up to the top of it. That's one of the tricks on dating sites if it gets stale. So you should really go in and revamp your profile often. Change it, because you want to keep it fresh and keep it going, and maybe things have happened in your life or something that you're looking at differently. But keep it to where you want, if you truly want something, say it, right? Be true to yourself. Be true to the profile. Be true to the person that's reading it. And if you just want to date, then just put you want to date. Don't say you want a relationship. Don't say it. There's plenty of ladies out there that don't want a relationship. They just want to date, right? They just want to go out to dinner and maybe have a good time. And so that's them. But if you truly want a relationship with someone, be prepared for it, right? Be prepared and put it in your profile. Say that you truly are looking for that wonderful connection with someone, and you're looking forward to it, And you can't put all the stuff in like everybody else does and think you're going to have something different. So you've got to be a little bit different and do it from your heart. But the reality is, where you're having trouble may not be what your profile says. It could be what you're truly looking for. And sometimes we're just so, and I'm like everyone else. Sometimes we look so much for the exterior of things versus what's inside of someone, right? And so, if you read a profile of someone and you feel that you maybe have a connection, and maybe they don't check all your boxes on the looks, maybe they look better in person, or maybe not, but give it a try, right? Because you're not vested yet. When you go on that first date, you're not vested yet. And I recommend 3 dates. I recommend going out with somebody 3 times. And if it doesn't do it for you by the 3rd date, if you don't have some sort of connection there, butterflies or whatever, if you're not attracted enough to want to have sex with them, then let it go. And you're not vested, right? You're just, tippy-toeing into the waters of dating. And so I'm going to leave you tonight with making sure that you understand that dating is a very emotional thing. It's not just, I'm going to throw my profile out there and see what happens. It's you're embarking on a shift that's going to happen in your life, and you better be prepared for it. If you truly want someone in your life, don't be surprised when that happens. And don't think for a minute you're not going to have to make some sort of shifts in your life, right? Because you've opened that door and you've asked that person to step in. And I think it's so wrong of us to think that we are not going to change or do anything that's going to embrace that person. So if we've stepped out and said, hey, I want someone in my life, I want a partner in my life, and that happens, then shame on you for not wanting to make the steps that it takes. I've heard so many stories, and I'll just share with you one about how someone had all of their closets completely full in their house. Now, you think yourself, this is silly, right? Every space in their house was full. Every drawer was full. Every closet was full. Everything was full. So where was she going to go? Right? Where was she going to be? Where was she going to land? Where was she going to step? Where was she going to hang her clothes? Where was her toothbrush going to be? The reality is, if you want someone else's toothbrush on your sink, you better make a space for it. If you want someone to hang their clothes in your closet, you better make a space for it. So the reality is if you're not ready emotionally for that wonderful person to step into your life, you're not going to find them. They're not going to come into your life. And so every time you're beating yourself up against the wall, you're thinking this dating site isn't working, that dating site's not working, this profile's not working. The reality is you're not ready. And ask yourself why. Ask yourself why. Are you too busy? Do you not want change in your life? Do you not want to embrace another person's stuff? I can't tell you how many times I've been told that I can't listen to the music that I like to listen to. So here I'm thinking about possibly embracing myself, stepping into a relationship with someone else, and they won't even turn on the channel of the music that I like to listen to. But they expect me to listen to their music. You know, we want to dance together, don't we? We want to listen to the music together. So we have to know that we have to start thinking outside of ourselves a little bit. We have to be valued to ourselves. We have to be, strong and to ourselves, saying, yes, we value ourselves. We value what's important to us. We have our non-negotiables. But doggone it, we can switch that radio channel. We can do it for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. But the reality is you just don't want to change, right? And if we think we're going to step into another relationship with somebody without making a change, without making a shift, we're kidding ourselves. And we're not going to be successful in a relationship. We're going to be hurt over and over and over again. So what I'm going to say to you now is straight up. If you want someone in your life, then you need to own it. You need to say, this is what I want. This is what I see. This is how I want my life to be. And start preparing yourself for it. Because when it happens, oh Lord, it's going to be great for you. But meanwhile, you're going to have to take the bumps in the road to get to your destination, right? So I hope you guys got this. I hope you understand the emotional part of starting out on this wonderful endeavor of meeting someone in your life, right? Having this perfect person for you, right? Not perfect all the way, but they're perfect for you, right? And you're perfect for them in your own way. And so I think that the more we think about, really creating a life that we truly want, the more it will happen for us. We want to put that out in the universe. We want to say, this is what I want. This is what I'm willing to do. This is what I'm willing to change, And I'm not saying big stuff about changing. I'm saying little things about changing. I'm saying like clean out a closet, move over some clothes, be ready for her clothes to be hung up there, right? Change, be willing to do whatever you need to do that is within reason. Life is short. And if you want to spend the rest of it by yourself, you're gonna. So you need to really gut it up and think about truly what you want as you move forward in your life. It's not an easy thing to make decisions, hard decisions, and your life is okay without someone in your life. You can have plenty of friends, wonderful people that embrace you, that enlighten you and move forward in your life. So you don't have to have that one person if that's truly not what you want. But be real, be honest, be true, don't pretend, and be the person that you truly want to be, right? And I know he and she will love you for it. So I hope everything goes well for you. We'll talk a little bit more as we move forward in the Date the Right One. I am Cece Shatz. I hope you enjoyed this show. I love talking to you, and I hope that we didn't get too tough on it. And if you have any comments or questions or anything like that, please email me. My email is goingsolonetwork@gmail.com. I love to get your messages. Someday I'll do a show again. Here's all my information here. I love to do a show about I've got a bunch of questions and things like that, comments that people send me. So we could maybe even do a show about that one time. But today we talked about, so you want to start dating. We talked about the emotional part of it. And we don't always talk about that because it's sticky, right? It's sticky. No one likes to think about change that they have to make in themselves. They have to embrace. And I'm not talking about physical change. I'm not talking about going on a diet. I'm not talking about anything like that. I'm talking about, in your heart, are you truly ready? In your mind, are you truly ready? Or what are you willing to give up? And what are you willing not to give up? What are you willing to give to the other person? Because we talk so much about what we want. What are we willing to give? And that's what's crucial in building a relationship. So each time as you step forward in dating, remember, all you're doing is building a relationship. It can be a friendship, and it can be oh so much more. So that's what you want to do. Don't let your heart get hurt. And as you move forward, don't let a part of your soul be lost. Just take it as it is. Be real about it, and understand that it's a pathway to what you truly are looking for. So I wish you all the very best in dating. I hope you guys date the right one on Meet the Right One. We got that brand new site out called meettherightone.com. Check out the Going Solo community. That is a transition site. I hope you guys will join me on that site. And it's really all about building your life really the way you want it to be, and embracing yourself with other people along the way, other like-minded people. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm Cece Shatz, the Doyenne of relationship building, and I'll catch you back here next time. Bye for now. You're listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. Bye.